For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
This is the Hakak, the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Baba Kasha.
Baba Kasha.
Nathan Lenawa. Hakak.
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 La Para'ah.
La Para'ah.
Kau Makala.
Kau Makala.
Wakau Madawa.
Wakau Madawa.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Latahar.
Latahar.
Ha Matazarayam.
Ha Matazarayam.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La Hakwiyam.
La Hakwiyam.
Hamathium.
Hamathium.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Al Raraka. Oh, Salakia. Raraka'awaf.
Araka'awaf.
Hatama Allah.
Hatama Allah.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
The Wada Aman.
The Wada Aman. In the English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
The prayer for the blessing in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai.
Why Yahweh Shai.
Why Mayaka Allah.
Why Mayaka Allah.
Why Allah Hayam.
Why Allah Hayam.
Matazabaya Ah.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Ha Alawapium.
Ha Alawapium.
Ha Saranyum.
Ha Saranyum.
Ha Kotazayanyum.
Ha Kotazayanyum.
Ha Koya Yoyum.
Ha Koya Yoyum.
Waha Quatium.
Waha Quatium.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
The Wada Aman.
The Wada Aman. In the English, bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalm 121 in Hebrew. Aisha'ah. Ayanya. Al-Haharium. Bayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Ma'aim. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Wa'aratazah. Al-Yathan. Lamawat. Regalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamarka. Hanala'ah. Yanawum. Wala'ah. Yayashan. Shawamor. Yashra Allah. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Al-Yad. Yamyaka. Yawamam. Hashemash. La'ah. Yakaka. Wayarak. Balayallah. Yahweh. Yashamarka. Makalrai. Yashamar. Afnapashka. Yahweh. Yashamar. Tazaatka. Wabawaatka. Ma'itha. Wa'id. Iwalam.
Wa'id Awalam. In the English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From which cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
The 83rd Psalm in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Thakarash.
Al-Thakarash.
Al-Thashakwat.
Al-Thashakwat.
Al-Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabyaka.
Awayabyaka.
Yahama.
Yahama.
Yawan.
Yawan.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Imaka.
Al-Imaka.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wayatha.
Wayatha.
Ya'itazawa.
Ya'itazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidam.
Wanakaki.
Magolia.
Magolia.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'Allah.
Sham Yasha'Allah.
Iwada.
Iwada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Now I Tazawa.
Our eye to the
Laba.
Laba.
Yakadwa. Aliaka. Barayaf. Yakarathwa. Aholia. Alawam. Wayashamai. Alayam. Mawa'aba. Wahagarium. Gabal. I'm a one. I'm a lock. Palashaf. I'm Yashabia. Tazawar. Gam Ashawar. Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zarawa. Labanya Lawat. Salah. Aishalaham. Kamadin. Kasaya. Sara'ah. Kayabian. Manakal. Kwayashwan. Nashamadwa. Ba'ayan. Da'ara. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shayatamwa. Nada. Yabmawa. Kayarab. Wakazabak. Salaki. Wakazabak. Wakatazal. Manai. Kalnasaya Kamwa. Ashar. Amarwa. Naya Rashab. Lanawa. Na'awa. Alahayam. Alahaya. Shayatamwa. Kagogala. Kakwash. Lapanya Raraka. Ka'ash. Tabi'ira. Ya'ira. Wakalahaba. Talahat. Harayam. Khan. Varadapma. Basairaka. Wabasa. Wapafka. Tabahalam. Mala'ah. Panyaham. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shimka. Yahawa. Yabashwa. Wayabaholwa. Aidya. Wayakaparwa. Waya Abadwa. Wayadayawa. Kayatha. Shimka. Yahawa. Labadka. Eliyawan. Al-Kal Ha'aratazar.
In English, keep not thy silence. O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still. O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, that they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kissam, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeir. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah and as Almunah, said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as a stumble before the wind, as a fire burneth a wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, make them afraid with thy storm, fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Okay. So Shabbat, please be seated. All right, we're gonna pick right back up with obviously Yanazar and I'm saying Officer Papa Juan left off last week. So we're picking up at Genesis chapter 9 into verse 23. All right, so those who want to read along, Let's go to bulletbible.org. All right. Type in Genesis 9. Scroll down to verse 23. You can just press that button that says tools on the side. All right. And you'll be able to see this here in Hebrew. That's what we'll be reading from. You can follow along with Brother Reed. All right. So now you're ready.
Come on, Khan. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9, and verse 23 in Hebrew. Wayakwak, Shem, Wayapaf, Af, Hashamla, Waya Shayamwa, Al, Shakam, Shanyahum, Waya Lakawa, Akarinathia, no, Salaka, Akaranayath, Waya Kasap, no, Waya Kasawa, Af, Irawaf, Abanyahum, Wapanyahum, Akaranath, Akaranayath, Wa Irawaf, Abiyahum, La'a, Ra'awa. Verse 24. Waya Yakwataza, Nak, Maya Yanawa, Waya Da'ai, Af, Ashar, Aisha, Lawa, Banwa, Hakwatun. Verse 25. Waya Amar, Arewar, Canaan, Ibadium, Yahaya, La'akayawa. Verse 26. Waya Amar, Barawak, Yahweh, Aliyaha, Salakia, Alahaya, Shem, Wayahaya, Canaan, Ibad, Lamwa. Verse 27. Yapath, Alahayim, Layapath, Waya Shakun, Waya Shakun, Ba'aholia, Shem, Wayahaya, Canaan, Ibad, Lamwa. Verse 28. Wayahaya, Nak, Akar, Hamakawol, Shalash, Ma'awath, Shana, Waha, Ma, Shayat, Waha, Wasalakya, Waka, Wakamshia, no, Wakamshiam, Wamakamshiam, Shana. In verse 29, Wayahayawa, Kal, Yamya, Nak, Vashai, Ma'awath, Shana, Wakamashiam, Shana, Wayamath. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 23 in English. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father and their faces were backwards, and they saw not their father's nakedness. Verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew that his younger son had done, Salakia, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Verse 25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Because, you know what I'm saying, of course, he made a mockery of his father, you know what I'm saying, his nakedness, instead of being a Tawar brother and covering him up. He made fun of him, went to get his brothers thinking they were going to join in on the fun, but instead, they, it was like, they of course were shamefaced. You understand? They covered their father up, man, in his nakedness. You know what I mean? Read on.
Come on. Verse 27. The Most High shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Verse 9. Verse 28. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, and verse 1 in Hebrew. Wa Allah, hawaladath, banyanak, sham, cham, wayapath, waladwa, lahum, banyam, akar, hamabawal. Verse 2. Banya Yapak Gamar Wama Gazag Wama Daya Hayawan Wafabal Wama Shaka Wafa Yaram, no, Yafa Yaras, Yafa Wa Fayarash, right? Why Fayarash? Verse 3. Wabanya Gamar Ashak Kanza Waya Yapath Wafagarama. Okay. Verse 4. Wabanya Yawun Aliyasha Wa Farashaya Wafa Rashayath Shayash Wafa Rashayath Kafayam Wada Danyam. Verse 5. Ma'ala Naparadawa Ayaya Hagawayam Ba'aratazatham Ayash Lalash Nawa Lama Shapak Kathum Bagawayam Bagawayahum Bagawayahum. Okay. Verse 6. Well, Bunya come Kawash, wa Matazarium, Wapawat, wa Kanain. Verse 7. Wabunya Kawash Sabaa Waka Wayala Wasabatha Wa Ra'aima Wa Sabathakam. No. Wasabaka'a Wabunya Ra'aima Shaba'a Wadadun. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 1 in English. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were born after the flood, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. Verse 3. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rapath, and Togarmah. And verse 4. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after the tongue, after their families, in their nations. Verse 6. And the sons of Ham was Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. Verse 7. And the sons of Cush was Seba, Havilah, Sabta, and Ra'amah, and Sabteka, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba, and Dedan.
All right, so it's just going into the lineage. You understand? Showing you who is who. This is how we know who is who on the earth today, man. You know what I'm saying? The Bible, you know what I'm saying, goes into the genealogy of all the nations on the earth. You know what I'm saying? This is how we know who the so-called oppressor is. This is how we know who the so-called, African man is, who the so-called China man is. You know what I'm saying? We know based upon what? The records, man. Records in this book. It all proves who is who, right?
If I may, sir. And if once you study, you also learn that this is a way that you can show that the European or the so-called oppressor, who's not even born yet into the world, is not a nation as of yet. And so the isles that he's talking about is these sons of Japheth, which was not Europeans, occupy what we call Europe today first. That's another thing.
Which further proves that ain't even where they're from. They like to claim lands and say, this one, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know that's definitely not one even y'all land. You know what I'm saying? They later on, as we read, and further down the line in the chapters, you see that land, they had to fight and conquer and steal that land too. You know what I'm saying? They're not the original inhabitants of that land.
Every piece of land that they own right now, they stole it or took it from somebody else. Every inch. That's the truth of the matter. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 8 in the Hebrew. Wakawash, Yalad, Ath, Namarad, Hawa'ah, Hakala, Wahaya Waf, Gabar, Ba'aratazar. Verse 9. Hawa'a, Haya, Gabar, Tazayad, Lapanya, Yahweh, Al-Kun, Ya'amar, Kanamarad. No, Kanamrad. That's Nimrod. Gabawar, Tazayad, Lapanya, Yahweh. Verse 10. Wathahaya, Ra'a, Shiath, Mamalakathwa, Bakal, Wa'arak, Wa'akad, Wakalana, Ba'arataza, Sina'ayar. Verse 11. Man Ha'arataza, Hahawa, Yataza'a, Ashawur, Wayabun, Ath, Nayanawa, Wa'ath, Rakabath, Ayor, Wa'ath, Kalak. And verse 12. Wa'ath, Rasun, Bayan, Nayanawa, Wabayan, Kalak, Hawa'a, Ha'ayar, Hagodela. Verse 13. Wa Matazarayim, Yalad, Ath, Lawadium, Wa'ath, Aniyum, Wa'ath, Lahabium, Wa'ath, Napathakium. And the last one is 14. Wa'ath, Patha Rasayim, Wa'ath, Kasa Lakium, Ath, Yataza Awa, Masham, Palashathium, Wa'ath, Kapathorium. This is the book of Genesis chapter 10 and verse 8 in English. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, or Calnah, in the land of Shinar. Verse 11. Out of the land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah. Verse 12. And Resen between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. Verse 13. And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Nephatim. Naphtuhim. Verse 14. And Pathrusim, and Kasaluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Captorim. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 15 in Hebrew. Wa Canaan, Oh, I just finished English. I'm starting 15 in Hebrew. God, sir. Wakanain, Yalad, Ath, Taza Yadan, Bakarwa, Wa'ath, Hath. Verse 16, Wa'ath, Haya Bawas, Haya Bawasia, Haya Bawasia, Wa'ath, Ha'amarya, Wa'ath, Hagaragshia. Verse 17, Wa'ath, Hakawaya, Wa'ath, Ha Irakia, Wa'ath, Hasiania, verse 18, Wa'ath, Ha'ara warrior, Wa'ath, Hataza Maria, Wa'ath, Hahamathia, Wa'akar, Napatazawa, Masha Pakathwa, Hakanainia. Verse 19, Wayahaya, Gabawol, Hakanainia, Mataza Yadun, Ba'aka, Garara, Aid, Aiza, Ba'aka, Sadama, Wa'ai Mara, Wa Adama, Wa Tazabayam, Aid, Lashai. In verse 20, Allah, Banya, come, Lama Shapath, Kiathum, Lash, Nathum, Ba'aratazathum, Bagawayahum, Bagawayahum. Verse 21. Walasham, Yalad, Gum, Hawa'a, Abya, Kal, Banya, Ibar, Akya, Yapath, Haga, the wall. Okay. This is okay, let me go back to 15. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, and verse 15 in English. And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth. Verse 16. And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite. 17. And the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite. Verse 18. And the Arvadite, and the Zamarite, and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Verse 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as though thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, Zeboim, even unto Lashah. Verse 20. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. unto Shem, also the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japhet, the elder, even to him were born children. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 22 in Hebrew. Banya Shem, Ayalam, wa Ashawar, wa Rapakashak, wa Awad, wa Aram. Verse 23, wa Banya Aram, I Waptaza, wa Kawal, wa Gathar, wa Mash. Verse 24, wa Abba Rapakashak, wa Ara Pakashak, or Pakashad, wa Rapakashad, Yalad Ath, Shalak, wa Shalak, Yalad Ath, Ibar. Verse 25. Wala Ibar, Yalad, Shanya, Banyam, Shem, Ha'akad, Palag, Kaya, Baya, Mayawa, Napalaga, Ha'arataza, Washem, Akyawa, Yakwatan. Verse 26. Wayakwatan, Yalad Ath, Alam Wadad, Wa'ath, Shalap, Wa'ath, Katazarumwath, Wa'ath, Yarak. Verse 27. Wa'ath, Hadawarum, Wa'ath, Hawazal, Wa'ath, Dakwala. Verse 28. Wa'ath, Iwabal, Wa'ath, Abia Ma'ala, Abia Ma'ala. Yes. Abia Ma'al, Wa'ath, Shaba'ah. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 22 in English. And the children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. Verse 23, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash, and Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. Verse 25, and unto Eber was born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his day was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Verse 26, and Joktan begat Almodad, and Shalep, and Hazar Mavath, and Jerah. Verse 27, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Dikla, or Dikla. Yeah, man. Verse 28, and Abal, and Abamael, and Sheba. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 29 in Hebrew. Wa'ath, our par, wa'ath, our yala, wa'ath, yawabab, cow, Allah, banya, yakwatun. Verse 30, wahaya, mawa shabum, mama sha'a, ba'aka, sapara, har, hakwadum. These. Verse 31, Allah, banyasham, lama shapakathum, la lashnathum, ba'aratazathum, laga wayahum. Verse 32, Allah, masha pafkath, banya nak, latha waladathum, baga wayahum, wama Allah na paradwa. Hagawayum, ba'arat is a car, hama bawar. Next chapter. We've got to read 3 in here. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11, in verse 1 in Hebrew. Wayahaya, Kal Ha'arataza Shapa, Akath, Wadabarium, Akkadium. Verse 2, Wayahaya, Banasa'ayam, Makwadum, Wayamataza'awa, Bakwa'ai, Ba'arataza, Sana'ir, Wayashabwa, Shum. Verse 3, Wayamarwa, Ayash, Al, Aihawa, Haba, Nalabana, Labanyam, Anash, Rapa, Wala Rapa, no, La Sharapa, La Sharapa, Wathathia, Wathahaya, Lahum, Halabana, La Abun, Wa Hakarma, Hakamar, Wahakamar, Haya, Lahum, Lakamar. Back, prior chapter, and we started at verse 29. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, and verse 29 in English. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab, all these were the sons of Joktan. Verse 30, and their dwellings was from Meshah, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. Verse 31, these are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Verse 32, these are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 1 in English. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Verse 2, And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 4 in Hebrew. Wayamarwa, Haba, Nakaba, Lanwa, Ayar, Wamagadol, Wara, Ashwa, Bashamyam, Wana Aisha, Lanawa, Shum, Pun, La Na Pawataza, Napatazawa, no, Napataza, Napawa Taza'a, Al Punya Kal Ha'aratazar. Verse 5. Wayarad Yahweh Lara'ath Ath Ha'ayar Wa'ath Hamagadol Ashar Banwa Banya Ha'adam. Verse 6. Wayamor Yahweh Hun Aim Akkad Washapak Akath Lakalam Wazah Hakalam Aishawath Wa Aitha La'a Yabatazar Mahum Kal Ashar Yazamwa La Aishawath. Verse 7. Haba Narada Wanabala Shum Shapathum Ashar La'a Yashama Aiwa Ayash Shapak Ra'ai Hawa. Verse 8. Wayapataza Yahweh Athum Mashum Al Panya Kal Ha'arataza Waya Kadolwa Labanath Ha'ayar. Verse 9. Al Khan Kwara'a Shema Bakal Kaya Shem Balal Yahweh Shapath Kal Ha'arataza Wamashum Hapayatazum Yahweh Al Panya Kal Ha'arataza. 10 will be the last one. Verse 10. Allah Fawaladath Shum Ban Ma'ath Shana Waya Walad Ath A Rap Pakashad Arab Pakashad Shanathium Akar Hamabawal. Okay. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 4 in English. And they said, Go, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from hence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. From thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Verse 10. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and he begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the last set of 7. All right, so we'll clip it up right there. So next week we'll pick up at Genesis chapter 11, verse 11. Right? Genesis chapter 11, verse 11. Keep going to this history, keep going into the genealogy of the nations, right? And just keep bringing out the truth, man. You understand? So just to appear, Amadio. Yeah, you good.
I'll get it later. Genesis 11:11.
Could get on the book. Individual, gird thyself to prepare to sleep the Torah. Yahweh Shimi Hawashah Barakayah.
Yahweh Shimi Hawashah Barakayah.
One more time. So, Amadio, you stand. Wapan Yahweh down. Which means rise and face the east.
We'll do the
Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew.
Abanawa,
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat
Kodash,
Kodash.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Shemka,
Shemka.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Malakwaka,
Malakwa.
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah.
Ratazayaka,
Ratazayaka.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Aisha,
Aisha.
Ba'aratazah,
Ba'aratazah.
Kawa,
Kawa.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim.
Nathunlanawa,
Lathunanawa.
Lakam,
Lakam.
Kal,
Cow.
Yawum,
Yawum.
Wasalaknawa,
Wasalaknawa.
Kabawath Yanawa,
Kabawatnawa.
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa.
Kabawath Yanawa,
Kabawathinawa.
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah.
Tabiayanawa,
Tabi'ayinawa.
Manasaya 1,
Manasaya 1.
Abol,
Abol.
Awashayanawa,
Abashayinawa.
Mayan,
Mayan.
Rai,
Rai.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Laka,
Laka.
Amalakwath,
Hamalakwa.
Waha'ala,
Waha'ala.
Wahafaparith,
Wahapara.
Wa'Iwalumium,
Waha'ilunium.
Aman.
Aman. In the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Prayer for the power, the Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah.
Baba Kashah.
Baba Kashah.
Nathan Lenawa. Hakak. Hakak. La Para'ah. Kal Makalah.
Kal Makalah.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La Tahar.
La Tahar.
Ha Matazarayim.
Hamatazarayim.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La Hakwim.
La Hakwim.
Hamathium.
Hamathium.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Al Rarakawa.
Al Rakawa.
Hatama Allah.
Hatama Allah.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah.
The water Aman.
The water Aman. In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it.
Prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai.
Why Yahweh Shah.
Why Mayaka Allah.
Why Mayaka Allah.
Why Alahayim.
Why Alahayim.
Matazabaya.
Matazab Yah.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawapium.
Halawapium.
Hasaranyim.
Hasaranyim.
Akwatazayanyim.
Hakwatazayanyim.
Akoya Yoyum.
Hakoya Yoyum.
Waha Akwatium.
Waha Akwatium.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Bahashem Yahweh Shah.
The water Aman.
The water Aman. In English, bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it.
121st Psalm in the Hebrew. Aisha.
Aisha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Al-Haharium.
Al-Haharium.
Mahayan.
Mahayan.
Yabaa.
Yabaa.
Izaria.
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 Ma'aim.
Ma'aim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayim.
Shamayim.
Wa'arataza.
Wa'arataza.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Ramawat.
Ramawat.
Regalka.
Regalka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Anala'ah.
Anala'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yasha'Allah.
Yasha'Allah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyaka.
Yamyaka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Balayala.
Balayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makaurai.
Makarai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Athnapashka.
Athnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Tazatka.
Taza'aka.
Wabawa'atka.
Wabawa'aka.
Mayatha.
Mayatha.
Wa'aid. Iwalam.
Wa'aid Awalam. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
83rd Psalm in Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Fakarash.
Al-Fakarash.
Al-Fashakwat.
Al-Fashakwat.
Al. Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayabyaka.
Awayabyaka.
Yahama.
Yahama.
Yawan.
Yawan.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Aimaka.
Al-Aimaka.
Ya'irayamwa.
Ya'irayamwa.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wayatha.
Wayatha.
Ya'itazawa.
Ya'itazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidam.
Wanakakidam.
Magolia.
Magolia.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'ala.
Sham Yasha'ala.
Iwada.
Iwada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'itazawa.
Nawa'itazawa.
Laba.
Laba.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Aliaka,
Aliaka,
Barayath,
Barayah,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarath,
Aholia,
Aholia,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Yashemai,
Yashamai,
Alayam,
Alayam,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Hagariam,
Wahagariam,
Gabol,
Gabol,
Wa'amawan,
Waimawan,
Wa'amalak,
Waimalak,
Palashaf,
Palashah,
I'm Yeshabia,
I'm Yeshabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Gam Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarawai,
Sarawai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Aishalaham,
Kamadian,
Kamadian,
Kasaya,
Asaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabian,
Kayabian,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamad,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Dara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
Adama,
La Adama,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yabmawa,
Ka'arab,
Ka'arab,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak,
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 Wakatazol,
Wakatazol,
Manai,
Manai,
Kal Nasaya Kamwa,
Cal Nasai Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nayarashar,
Nayarashah,
Alanawab,
Manawa,
Af,
Af,
Na'awaf,
Ma'awa,
Alahayam,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Kagogala,
Kagogala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapana Rawaka,
Lapanya Rabaka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Tabi'ira,
Tabayaira,
Yaira,
Yaira,
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba,
Talahat,
Talahat,
Harayam,
Harayam,
Khan,
Khan,
Daradapma,
Baradap,
Basairika,
Basairaka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapafka,
Wapatka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Palawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwash,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabaholwa,
Wayabaholwa,
Ida'ai,
Adiai,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadayawa,
Wayadayawa,
Kaya Atha,
Kayatha,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadika,
Labadka,
Al-Yawan,
Al Yawan,
Al-Ratazar.
Al Kaha Ratazah. And in English, keep not thy silence,
Keep not thy silence,
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
hold not thy peace,
hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
and be not still,
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
for lo,
for lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate
and
thee
they that hate thee
have lifted up the
have
head.
lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty
They
counsel
have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
and
against
consulted against
thy hidden ones.
thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
come,
come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a
from
nation,
being a nation.
that the name of
That
Israel
the name of Israel
may be no more in
may be
remembrance.
no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted
For
together
they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate
They
against
are
thee,
confederate against
the tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the
the
Ishmaelites
Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and the Hagarenes, Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre,
inhabitants of Tyre,
Assur
Assur
also
also
is joined with
is
them.
joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them
do unto them
as Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kishon,
at the brook of Kishon,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the
They
earth.
became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles
Make their nobles
like Oreb
like Oreb,
and like Zeeb.
and like Zeeb.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all their princes,
Azabah
as Zabah,
and Nazalmunah,
and Alzalmun,
who said,
who said,
let us take to
"Let us
ourselves
take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
O my power,
O my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stumble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as a fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burneth a wood,
and as a flame
and as the flame
setteth the mountains on fire.
setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute
So
them
persecute them
with thy
with
tempest,
thy tempest,
make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm,
with thy storm,
fill their faces with shame,
fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy
they
name.
may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded
be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let it be put to shame
and perish,
perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
art the most high
of all the earth.
of all the earth. Sir, men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I Majum Shabbat. I Majum Barak. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Barak